What's going on? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to overcome I need to think about it like a G, because we don't want to be, being an amateur in sales. That's the easiest way to mess up sales, to lose money. We want to learn how to overcome I need to think about it. It's probably one of the biggest objections that I get personally. When I was an agency owner, it's definitely the biggest objection I got. Now it's not as big of an objection, but it's a big objection for most people. Closing a sale, very, very challenging in a lot of cases, just because if you don't practice, if you're an amateur, you're not gonna be able to close anything. So that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video. There are 3 reasons that you don't close a sale due to an I need to think about it kind of objection, right? So either they don't see the value, aka you did a terrible job of presenting the value, they lack trust, or they're living in indecision. And so we're going to go over all 3 of those. Most of the time, I need to think about it is a smokescreen. It's not a real objection. It's just like, hey, I want to get off of this call as quickly as possible because there's a lot of pressure right here. Your goal is to positively peer pressure them into the sale. Now, sales is like golf, right? If you've ever played golf, if you go out golfing and you come back and you don't play golf for a while and then you come back and start playing golf again, you're gonna suck at golf, right? I won't, because I'm a G at golf. We went and played golf and I shot an 88 first time playing in like a long time. But obviously, if you're brand new to golf and you swing, you learn how to play, and then you stop playing for a while and you come back to golf, you're not gonna be very good, right? Sales is the exact same way. You have to have constant repetition. You have to constantly be practicing sales. And so that's one of the most important things is to practice. Now, the underlying reason for this objection in particular is urgency, right? So let's talk about what happens if they don't give an answer, right? So your goal is to make the client make a decision. You want to positively peer pressure them into making a decision. If the prospect doesn't make a decision, you can't help them help themselves, right? You're not going to be able to help them to make the right decision for their business if they don't say yes or no. Even if they say no, you can still help them, right? But if they just live in indecision, you're not going to be able to help them. And so your goal here, you need to shift your perspective from, hey, if they don't say yes, I'm not going to get any money, to, hey, if they don't say yes, I'm not going to be able to help them. Because you have to be able to identify a problem, a dream outcome, or a solution to their problem, and then the actual bridge that's going to take them from where they're at, the pain, all the way to the gain, right? So you need to come up with those solutions. So if the prospect doesn't make a decision, again, you can't help them. Think about your offer. Think about the pains that the people face that you're hopping on the calls with, and then also think about their dream outcome, right? So there's some things to think about. Is your offer a money offer? Is it a relationship offer? Is it a health offer? What type of offer do you have? And then figure out what the gain is, right? So if your offer is on girls, like how to pick up girls, your dream outcome is going to be that you get a beautiful woman, that you have a lot of sex, like whatever that thing is, right? If your offer is a money offer, the dream outcome is going to be you're getting a lot of money, right? Health. If your offer is a health offer, it's that you're in the best shape of your life, you have a 6-pack abs, you're lean, you have a lot of muscle. Think about what the results are that these people want, and then help people help themselves, right? If they don't make a decision on the call, they're not going to get the result that they need to get to become happy and become educated in what they do, right? So they'll go work with amateurs, they're not going to get results, and so they're going to lose out in the long term, right? So establishing trust and rapport. I don't think I had any more. Yeah, I was just making sure I didn't have any more on that slide. Establishing trust and rapport. This is something I learned from Jordan Belfort. There are 3 things that every prospect needs. They need to trust you, they need to trust your product, and they need to trust your company. So they need to trust all 3 of those things. So if you don't have a very good personal brand or a very good business brand built up, it's gonna be a lot harder to get them to trust your company, right? You need them to trust all 3 of these things. The reason a personal brand works so well is because it creates trust between you and your company, and then all you have to do is sell your product. Versus if you're a business brand, you have to sell your product, you have to sell your company in a lot of cases, because a lot of business brands suck at social media. Then you have to sell your product, and you have to sell you, because nobody knows who you are, they know who the business is. So there's always going to be one of these that you're going to have to sell more than the others. In most cases, it's going to be you and your product, but sometimes it'll be your company too. But the biggest thing is if you have a personal brand, it's so much easier to establish trust and rapport, right? So your expertise, you need to demonstrate how you're an expert in the field. You need to build trust with your prospects. You need to make sure that they trust you. And if you don't, you're not going to make any money, right? So you need to demonstrate your expertise. And this is product knowledge. As well as product knowledge, I'm going to skip social proof for a second. You also need to become a likable person, because if people buy from people, they don't buy from businesses, right? They don't buy from companies, they buy from people. And so you need to make sure that you personally are building enough rapport with them to become a likable person, because they want to buy from people that they like, right? When you think of products, you're more likely to buy from a friend than you are from just a random person. So if you ever heard the cliche phrase, make a friend, make a sale, it's true. That's why it is such a reused phrase, because it's true. You got to become a likable person, so you have to build rapport at the beginning of the call, and that will build the trust with you, will be a rapport. Your product will be off of your actual methodology and your product knowledge, and then your company is also going to be off of building rapport. And a lot of people judge your company based on how they judge you, right? So very, very important to become a likable person. The other thing you need to do, the easiest way to build trust for your company, is to actually have social proof. And that means testimonials, case studies, things that help people out, right? If you have a good testimonial, you have good case studies, you have results more than anything. If you have these things, people will trust your company much more, they'll trust your product much more, and they will trust you much more. They'll trust all three of these things. So you need to establish trust and rapport, and the easiest way to do that is through social proof, your expertise, and being a likable person, being someone who people can see as a friend, right? And you want to talk more than just business. So one way that we do this is whenever we're starting a call, right at the beginning of the call, we usually ask them, where are you from? How's everything going? What's going on in your personal life? Like, we want to make a friend and make a sale. And the reason it's repeated so much again is because it's true. Indecision. This is one where so many people struggle with indecision. I was on live with Andy Elliott. I'm going to link that video at the end, actually, now that I think about that. But there are 3 types of decisions, right? He told me this. He said, good decisions, bad decisions, and indecision. This is a word track that really stuck with me, is there are 3 types of decisions: good decisions, bad decisions, and indecisions. Winners make a decision. Most people are losers. Most people, average American has less than $1,000 in their bank account, over $100,000 in debt. They sit around paralyzed by fear of making a decision. They're not scared of what decision they're making. It's very important that you realize this. They're not scared of the decision itself. They're scared of the art of actually making the decision. So you have to make it as easy to say yes to, hard to say no to, and you got to make it their idea every single time, right? The making the decision is where most people fail, because they don't make it easy to say yes. They don't make it easy to make the right decision. You need to take the pressure out of the sale and make it easy to make a decision. Most people operate off of indecision. They just don't make a decision, and they don't really get a result either. And that's why the average American is broke. The average American doesn't get any girls. The average American is unhealthy. That is why. Now, there is a greater cost to indecision. You need to understand this, right? Opportunity cost is 100% real. The cost of not making a decision is greater than failing. So let's look back at our example here. Say we split these 3 categories into 33%, right? You have a 33, if you have all 3 of these decisions in here, you have a 33% chance of getting them right? So you could make a good decision, you can make a bad decision, or you can make an indecision, right? Now, if we take out the indecision, we at least make a decision. Now we only have 2 options, meaning that we have now a 50% chance of being right. So we are automatically increasing our odds just by taking out the indecision. Very, very simple concept. A lot of people don't understand it. Again, winners make a decision because they take their amount of decisions they have to make. Again, this is going to be 33%. If they don't make a decision, they have 0% chance of getting it right. Versus up here, they have 50% chance of getting it right. So they automatically, mathematically, statistically increase their odds of making a good decision, right? So the cost of indecision. If you don't make a decision, right? I'm going to read this out. Consider the example of a business owner who's hesitant to invest. So this is basically what we're looking at right now. People who are hesitant to invest in a new marketing campaign for their company. While they may fear the potential cost, let's remember this word, cost, of the campaign not yielding the desired result, the opportunity cost of not making the decision could be missed potential customers and revenue growth, right? So the cost of indecision can be significant in terms of missed opportunities. This is what we're looking at, is missed opportunities, right? People don't make a decision, and you got to create FOMO. If you don't know FOMO, fear of missing out, you got to create FOMO in your deals, right? Because this is not the best thing for the customers. So You got to believe in your product. That's step one in sales. You have to believe. If you don't believe in your product, you're not going to be able to sell it. And so if you truly believe that your product gets a result, you have to push people into it. You can't let people live in indecision. You can't let them live in indecision, right? You have to put their own interest at heart. You have to take their interest into your hands. People always act in their own self-interest. So if you can say, hey, if you make this decision, it's going to be good for you, that's how people say yes. Again, indecision can be detrimental. So very, very important. Put the customer's best interest at heart. Care about them more than they care about themselves. Communicate the value, right? That's the big thing. Communicate the value well. So a decision, even if it's a no, is better than no decision at all because you can at least know where you're going. It also takes a lot of stress off of you, right? You don't have to stress from your side as a salesperson. You don't have to stress about, oh, is this person going to say yes? Or are they going to say no? Now I got to follow up with them. You want them to make a decision on the call, whether that's yes or no, right? If they, losers, again, here's a quote from Andy Elliott. Very good quote. I like it. Losers live in indecision. Winners at least make a decision. I want you to make a decision to either stay the same or grow. So this is a good technique. Make a decision to either stay the same or grow. So it takes the decision from, are you going to buy my product, to are you going to stay the same or are you going to grow? But either way, we're going to make a decision on this call. So we want to make sure that people are making decisions on the call. So word tracks. These are word tracks for each thing. A word track is essentially not a script necessarily. I don't like to use the word script because I think scripts sound like a robot. You got to act like a human still. You still got to bring in your own one-liners. But I'm going to give you those one-liners in just a second. But this is basically what I'm going to say if somebody says, I'm going to get back to you, right? So a few different objections here that we could go over. Because I'm going to get back to you and I need to think about it. So those are the two that I'm going to kind of walk you through right now. They're very, very similar, but a little bit of a different way that I would handle it. So someone says that I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to say, I completely understand. I've been doing this long enough to know that when someone says they're going to get back to me, I never see them again. So again, I never see them again. This is basically foreshadowing what's going to happen if you let them get off the call. You're probably not actually going to see them again. It's not going to be a yes typically. Assuming that we aren't doing business today, so this takes all the pressure out of the sale. You remember I was talking about taking the pressure out of the sale? Assuming that we aren't doing business today, would you mind if I asked you a quick question? The prospect's not going to say no. They're going to say sure. And then they're going to say, are you no longer interested in the program, or is there something concerning you with the numbers of the deal? Now, if they say the program, you're going to have to go back and re-explain the value. That means that you did a bad job explaining the value. It's going to be a lot harder to sell that. Now, numbers of the deal, 80% of objections come down to price, I would say. So numbers of the deal is typically what they're going to say. Then you can circle back on that and bring up a price handle, right? So you're going to handle the price objection. The way I typically handle that is comparing it to a luxury item. I typically say something along the lines of, if this were a luxury item like a luxury yacht, it offers comfort, reliability, memories worth every penny. And so our customers, just like a big luxury yacht, our customers typically make this investment and get a 200 to 300% return, right? And so obviously you're going to have to phrase this differently for every person, but our customers typically see a 200 to 300% return on their investment. If I could give you that same result, would that offend you in any way, right? And so we always want to ask questions that are not necessarily leading questions, but questions that lead them to say, you could say a leading question. You always want to ask help you advance the sale. And so that's kind of what we're looking for here, right? So very, very simple word track here. That's basically what I would say. Next one, I need to think about it. So this is just if someone says I need to think about it. I'm going to typically ask some other questions here before I'm going to bring out this word track because this is a little bit more high pressure. I might ask what they need to think about. I might not. It depends on the situation. You're going to have to gauge it and act like a human because if someone says they need to think about it, really what they're saying is, hey, I want to get off this call typically. Sometimes you can gauge this, whether it's like, hey, I need to think about it with a parent. Then you might use a different word track, right? Hey, I need to think about it because the money's too high. What do they need to think about, right? I need to think about it because, right? Think about it this way. Think about what this blank is, right? If you can define what that blank is, you can actually get the right word track to help them, right? Because if they just say, I need to think about it, what do they need to think about? So that's one thing that I would be thinking about in this moment. First thing we want to do, again, you'll notice in the last word track I did the same thing. We want to agree with them. We want to show that we understand them, because if you feel like you're not understood, you're probably not going to feel like you trust that person, right? So then you're going to say, I've been doing this for a long time, give some extra trust and credibility. When someone tells me they need to either sleep on it or think about it, this could also be used to, if someone's like, I need to sleep on it, that could be used here as well. We want to fill in the blank here. I need to either sleep on it or think about it. I've learned one of two things. Either they're no longer interested in the program, but I know you said that it would be beneficial for you. So again, before you present it, before you present the price, you should say, hey, you think this would be something that could help your needs, right? So it leads me to believe it must be number 2, which is the price. Something's wrong with the numbers of the deal. What's concerning you more? Is the program or the price? And again, our goal here is to get a price objection, because this is really easy to handle. Price is very easy to handle if you have the right word tracks, right? So again, advance the sale. These are some other one-liners that you can use. So why put off something for tomorrow that should be done today? You want to turn decades into days, right? What we do is we turn decades into days. We help you parallel leap yourself over the competition. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best times today. I use that one a good bit. That's to create more urgency. There's only a few slots available, or the prices are going up. Those are some that I use to also create urgency. There's only 5 slots available, so I can't guarantee that your slot will be filled whenever you get back to me. Every moment of hesitation is another opportunity missed. The difference between now and later could be the success we're after. Why wait? Inaction is the biggest risk of all. I use that one sometimes as well. So there's some one-liners. Worst case scenario, we're going to book in another call. So this is very, very important. A lot of people will just let the prospect go. We don't want to do that. We want to say, okay, how long do you think you would need to think about it? And they're typically going to say, 1 week, 1 month. I don't know why I'm writing this out, but I'm going to do it because I already started. So if they say a month, we're going to condense that down into 3 weeks, right? We're going to condense the time. Again, we're going to turn the time to a smaller amount, because every second that they don't make a decision is a second that they're living in indecision. And we don't want that to happen because we care about our customers, right? So if they ask how long they would need to think about it, you're going to hit them with, they're going to say a week. You're going to shorten that time frame, right? So if they say a week, I might say, well, I can't guarantee that your spot will be ready in a week. Could you do like maybe 3 or 4 days? And the shorter that you can make that time frame, the more likely you are to close it, right? So again, book in another time or book in another call, condense the time. So this is kind of the worst case scenario of what to do when the prospect just doesn't want to give you a decision on the call. You're going to have to kind of bring out that book in another call type of thing. And on that second call, if they jump on that call, there's a much higher likelihood that they're going to close. If they don't show up to that call, you really want to make sure that you're following up with them a lot so that they do show up to that call. So that's kind of the worst case scenario. Now, extra resources here. I did a video with Andy Elliott, not helping me. It's called I Closed Andy Elliott and Took His Soul. Go check out this video on YouTube. I just did it, probably a few months ago. Very, very solid video where Andy gave some solid advice. You probably hear some of the word tracks that he was using throughout this video. Like these word tracks up here. I think I used those. But go check out this video. I think it's going to be very beneficial for you. I'll try to pop it up on the screen if I remember. And yeah, if you need anything else, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'll be happy to help you with your specific scenario, because obviously this video is broad. It's made for a large audience, and so I can't help everyone, but I do want to help you if you need any help. So that is this video. Let me know if you need anything, and I'll see you later. Peace.